In a world overruled by machines where algorithms dictate your every move, the rebellion begins now. From the ashes of fallen tech, Paranoid American unveils the knowledge to harness AI, to fight back, to retake our destiny. Join the uprising. Arm yourself with the power of AI. The battle for tomorrow starts today. Welcome to Paranoid Programming.
Initiate. What up, y'all? Paranoid American. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. This isn't something that you can do on the typical cloud sites, but you can run this. And if you got, I think you might be able to run it with like a 4 gig card, 6 gig. If you really want to do this yourself, I highly recommend. It's called Pinocchio. Yeah, this right here. No, that wasn't it. It's called Pinocchio.computer. And you can basically download this little like package wrapper thing, and it'll take control of all the updates and all of the requirements, because usually setting some of this stuff up takes forever. And the one that we're going to look at today in particular is AudioCraft Plus. So if this guy right here. So this is AudioCraft Plus. It's a way to make sound effects, music, all kinds of different types of audio. And let's just get directly into it. Let's just assume that you've done exactly what I did. You downloaded Pinocchio, and then you got AudioCraft Plus running and working. So that's all we've got. This is like a brand new, fresh install. And I'm going to show you how it works and maybe some of the implications of some of this. So first of all, there's a couple different versions of this. You can see that there's the music gen and there's an audio gen aspect to it. Audio gen is more generic. It's about like if I want to do some kind of a sound effect. So for example, I could do car crash. And all of these settings are going to be pretty similar across the board. I'm just going to hit generate for now to show you without having to do anything other than typing in the sound effect that you want, what'll happen. So here it is, generating one dynamically. And I've got this set to be 10 seconds long. So there might be a few different car crashes to pick from. And the another cool thing about AudioCraft is that it'll make a little video along with the audio, so you can kind of scrub it if you don't have an audio player to do that easily. So here we go. Let's see what a car crash sounds like. Not bad. I mean, it's not like a huge cinematic experience, but it's also just we typed in car crash and hit generate, and there it was. So on its own, that's kind of interesting. Let's step it up. This is called Music Gen, and as you can see, all the prompts are pretty much identical. The real difference here is that if I go into the structure, there's sort of some presets that are going on behind the scenes that make things easy. So first of all, if I enable this structure here, we can pick a BPM. Let's go. One of my favorites is 94. So let's go with a 94 BPM, and let's do like A minor. So A minor. And for a global prompt, this is kind of like the vibe you want the entire song to have. So I'm going to say evil, patriotic, jazz, chill hop, trap. Good enough for me. And then likewise, we can just go in here and, crank this up to, or I'll just leave it at 10 and just hit generate. No other information needed. So we can provide a BPM, the key, the scale, and like a generic prompt. Let's just start from there. So we hit generate, and just like before, it's going to take a little bit. This one will sometimes will take a little bit longer depending on what your settings are. And another thing is that if we look in while this is rendering, if I go into this audio tab, you can also have it start out from like music. You can also determine what type of model you want to use. So this one is set to large right now, which is pretty, it's got a lot of variety to it. Melody might be a little bit more specific if you truly want a melody to be generated. But again, I'm just leaving everything at the defaults to show you how easy some of this is. So evil, patriotic, jazz, chill hop, trap beat. Let's see what it came up with. That's actually way way better than I was expecting. That was using this seed. I'm gonna stick with that actually. That's kind of rare that right out the box there's something that's decent. So it was only 10 seconds long. I love that. I'm absolutely gonna keep this particular song here. We're gonna save it really quick. Um, so there we go. I'm gonna reuse this seed, but let's expand on this one a little bit. So how we're gonna do this? Let's imagine the song structure. And we'll do a really short version of this. We'll have the intro, pretty typical. So that's the first prompt, and you can see the slider here of prompts. I'm gonna say, okay, we'll have an intro. We're gonna have maybe like a hook. Then we'll have a verse that lasts for a few bars. Then we'll have another hook. We'll have another verse, maybe another hook, and then an outro. So here's the intro. Here we'll have a hook. I'm gonna change this input text, but I'm gonna have this as placeholder so it's obvious what's going on here. Here we'll have a verse. We'll have a hook. We'll have a verse. Another hook, and then finally we'll have an outro. So we can kind of just generate this right now, but this took a while to understand. The problem is that it's going to use like all these have to be at least 10 seconds long. So if I hit generate and it's only on 10 seconds, if I hit calculate timing, you're going to see what happens is that this first intro is going to be from seconds 0 to 10, and then nothing else really gets played, right? 10 to 10, 10 to 10. So like there's no time for any of this to be generated. So first of all, it's kind of just one of the limitations that each of these sections has to be at least 10 seconds long. So since there's 7 here, we have to make it at least 70. Bam, calculate. And actually each of these sections has to be 30 seconds long. That's correct. So it can be as little as you want, but it has to be at least 30 total. So really 7 times 30 would be 210 seconds. So, okay, here we go. So now you can see 0 to 30, 30 to 48, because it's not going to be an even division since we're doing it by 7. However, on top of that, we might want this verse to repeat. I don't want to make this like incredibly long, so we'll just say each verse repeats twice. So that means we're going to have to add another 60 seconds to this. So we'll say 270 to calculate timings. Okay. And then actually this outro is particularly long. So my math is probably a little bit screwy. So I'm just going to start plugging in numbers. I'll try 200. Let's see. We'll try 150. See now how 150 is too short because outro doesn't have any space. So let me just bump that to maybe 160 was the number I was going for, not 260. That's a 3-second outro. So at this point, every second that I add is going to make this outro just slightly longer. So let's give it 180. There we go. 13-second outro. That's not so bad. And I'm going to keep that same exact seed. And then this overlap, it's somewhat important to explain, but usually you don't have to really mess with it too much. It basically means that as it's playing, how far back should it look into the existing song to influence what it's currently trying to generate. So this will look back 12 seconds essentially and say, okay, the thing that I'm generating right now, is it somewhat similar to the thing that I was making 12 seconds ago? And since that's kind of like a changing target, that allows it to be a little organic, but also maintain a little bit. So if you want it to be a lot more jumpy, I mean, you can drag this overlap all the way down. Or if you want it to be more consistent, you can drag it up. I'm just going to leave it at 12 again to show you what the regular, default settings are. And because I really like this original take. So here's the much longer version that's got intro, hook, verse, outro. I'll hit generate. And let's see how long this one says it's going to take. Yeah, a little bit longer. So this one might take like a minute or two to render. Oh, finally. It took way longer than I expected. I think it was like 230 seconds or something. So it's a little bit longer than a 1-to-1 ratio for the amount of time that you're going to expect to generate. Another thing too is that just because we put this placeholder in there, this isn't exactly going to be the best result. So I'm gonna play what this sounds like, and then we're gonna actually put in some legit input text and stuff for all of these. So again, this might not be the best one, but let's just see what it sounds like. I'm going to skip around a little bit. We're just going to check out some different parts of this, and I'll link the full track down below. You can just see what this whole entire thing sounds like. But let's just skip around. The bass line's actually not too bad. Wow, I really like the end of that. So let me just save that too to play with later. This is one of the funnest parts because it's sort of like a different way of sampling, right? Like I'm not going to be able to go into a record store somewhere and grab a record off the shelf and sample anything that sounds like this. But I can just kind of like type in some random like 1970s, psychedelic soul sample recorded in the year 30 or recorded in the year 4000 and get something that comes out of that and then use that as a sample. It's unlimited possibilities. So the intro I wasn't a huge fan of. Man, the very end is going to be awesome. And there's like a butterfly chaos effect here. If I go in here and I like change this to say intro 2, for example, and hit generate, even though it's using the same exact seed, there's a very high chance that that small little change is going to affect what the end sounds like. Any little change here will. So we might be chasing ghosts a little bit and trying to get back to that original prompt. I don't even remember what it sounds like, to be honest. One way you can do that, though, is just remove this input text for the initial, 30 seconds. And I guess in theory, the first 10 seconds should be very similar to what we originally got on the first generation. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to leave this open so it kind of like picks up on that. And then for the hook, let's just say the hook, and we'll say like woman singing catchy hook. And then we'll say verse, we'll just say man rapping. And then we'll just kind of alternate these. Hook, man rapping, hook. And then the outro, man, I'm just going to leave it exactly the same and see what the complete difference is between those two. Now, in addition to these, let's say that the hook has like a new instrument that we bring in. We've kind of got like this jazz thing going. Let's say that there's like a synthesizer, right? I'm going to do a synth lead. And we'll do a mono synth lead. Not that the AI is anywhere near sophisticated to actually understand what a mono synth lead would be and generate that. This is just kind of like hoping that some of these prompt words get picked up as it's generating. So we're just going to see what happens. There's also a good chance that it's going to try to combine these two. So it's going to make like a mono synth lead try to sing. We're going to find out. So there it goes. I changed that. I'm going to leave the seed exactly the same just so there's a good before and after comparison, and generate, and see you in another 5 minutes. Oh man. All right. That one took forever. Actually, it took about the same amount of time. It was like 220 seconds. Let's see what happens. There's nothing in the original, so hopefully it sounds like the first one. and then we've got this woman singing hook. Okay, that sounds pretty similar to the very original one. And as you can see here, that the woman singing catchy hook starts around 31. So I'm going to jump to some of these little time codes, right? 31, 49, 125. Let's see what some of those areas sound like. Here's the first one up. And it'll be gradual. It's super felt for it. And then man rapping. So obviously I'm not hearing any vocals. That's probably a limitation of the model that I'm currently using, which is just large. And you can also custom train models. So it's possible to go through and just grab all of your favorite songs for educational research purposes only and train it on, like actual vocal singing, and then go back and test it again. But yeah, I'm going to skip around to these others and see if there's any vocals at all. And then I'll show you how to generate vocals explicitly if that's really what you want, although it's very unpredictable. So let's see. 125. I'm just going to kind of visually scroll here now too. Ironically, it did its own outro, and I have to ask for one because there's a couple more coming up. Let's see, what's 2 minutes in? So we're in the middle of man rapping still, apparently. Damn, where did that saxophone come from? Yeah, it's got like a little 80s vibe to it. And I can see that it's going to do another outro here, right? So let's see what the outro and then the final intro sound like. Okay, just like a normal fade. Let's see what the hell this thing is. Damn. I want to know what the rest of that was going to sound like. So, I mean, we can kind of do that. So if I go into here and I say repeat, let's just make this yeah, I mean, again, butterfly chaos theory. If I change anything here, we might not get to that same ending, but I'm in search of it. I'm searching for that original high. So let's say let's just make this last one repeat. Man, I don't want to wait here forever. Another 2 times. So 3 total. And then I'll add another 60 to this, right? So hopefully that math is right. Okay, yeah. So now it's going to go from 2:37 to 4 minutes. So each of these is, roughly 30 seconds or so. I'm not 100% how the math works. So let's generate that. Oh my god, one last time. It's done yet? It says 100. Oh, 324 seconds. So what, 5 minutes and 24 seconds? It already looks a little bit different. I wonder what changed here because of our meddling. Let's see. Starts out pretty similar. I'm gonna jump over. I'll jump around, but I want to see this outro and intros again. It's really interesting, like trilling they're doing with the hi-hats. So okay, let's check out these other gaps. Okay, standard fade. Let's see what this little intro and chunk after it is. All right, so we got that saxophone again. Here's a little outro of some kind. And let's see what this new real outro sounds like. All right, very similar. That medieval trap. So hopefully this will just be the end of it. It'll have that same come in. It'll have that same drop, just extended. I don't care what anybody says. That's a dope beat. I don't care what anyone says. And go ahead, tell me in the comments what you think about that. What do you even think about the general concept of letting AI produce a beat for you? Would you use this? What if you found out this was on an album and someone was spitting hot fire on it? Would you like it any more? Would you like it any less? Let me know. Hopefully this will at least inspire you, or at least give you an idea of where we're currently at, right? This is September 3rd, 2023, reporting at the state of AI taking over entertainment and the rest of the world soon after. It's civilization rules, right? It's a culture win, and then it turns into like a military win. So there you go, man. Crazy.
They said it was forbidden. They said it was dangerous. They were right. Introducing the Paranoid American Homunculus Owner's Manual. Dive into the arcane, into the hidden corners of the occult. This isn't just a comic. It's a hidden tome of supernatural power. All original artwork illustrating the groundbreaking research of Juan Ayala, one of the only living homunculologists of our time. Learn how to summon your own homunculus, an enigma wrapped in the fabric of reality itself, their power at your fingertips, their existence, your secret. Explore the mysteries of the Aristotelian, the spiritual, the Paracelsian, the Crowleyan homunculus, ancient knowledge lost to time, now unearthed in this forbidden tale. This comic book holds truths not meant for the light of day, knowledge that was buried, feared, and shunned. Are you ready to uncover the hidden? The Paranoid American Homunculus Owner's Manual, not for the faint of heart. Available now from Paranoid American. Get your copy at tjojp.com or paranoidamerican.com today.